Clarence Williams. He's a motivational speaker, radio talk show host, preacher, teacher, husband, father. He likes to be described as a beloved, bold, radical servant of God with a reputation of keeping it real and telling it like it is. He has several academic credentials to his credit, including business management, computer technology, practical theology, political science, and biblical studies. He currently oversees several pastors and churches throughout the country. Reverend Williams was awarded the Spirit of Excellence Award by Next Generation Ministries for his ability to defy church traditions and eradicate segregation based on race, creed, or gender within the body of Christ. He currently serves as a member of the Scotland County Board of Education. We'd like to welcome Reverend Williams.
Certainly, we just excited to have the opportunity to speak to this first graduating class of the Twilight Successful Academy. And I like to be first because you only have one time to be the first. And so I first of all want to salute our graduates, and let's give them a hand. Being able to not only put up with the graduates, but being able to give them the support necessary to continue on in spite of all the odds and challenges that they will face. So give yourself a hand. I also want to salute this administration. I want to salute this administration because they took it not as an insult, but a challenge to be able to expand the course of education. Being aware that everybody don't learn the same. And so being able to create another entity where our young people will have a chance of success. I certainly have to take my hats off to the administration and let them know that a job well done for creating entities necessary that we all are going to be successful. So let's celebrate our administration as well. Stand before you long. I had an 8-page report and it was about 45 minutes. And so, not to bore you, I'm going to left that in the car and I'm going to keep my notes in the pocket because at the end of the day, what I have to say is truly going to be from my heart because I'm going to desire to keep it real and to let you know how awesome an opportunity it is for us to be here today. When we begin to look at the term twilight, if you will, and as I began to research that, I found out that twilight is certainly that time and that space in time between high noon and when the sun is going down. And so here it is that we celebrate our graduates for not allowing the sun to go down on their opportunity. They could have given up a long time ago. When they discovered that there was some differences, either psychological or even environmentally, they did not allow the opportunity to go dead on their success. They took the challenge to invest into their intellectual property and to observe the terrain and make sense of all of their surroundings, so much so that they began to overcome all the obstacles and found themselves sitting here with cap and gown ready to receive their diploma. Y'all got to be happy about that.
Yes.
I'm excited about them also. and I'm excited like so many parents because, they could have chosen to go left, but this group here decided to go right. And see, that may not mean something to most of you, but for that few that now didn't think that they were going to make it and then look like their family members or that little child, nobody wants to look at their child as being bad or unproductive, but being able to look at your child and seeing them overcome all the obstacles in their community to go in and still come after hours to make a difference in their own success, I'm telling you, that needs to be commended. It needs to be commended because sometimes we take things so for granted that we lose touch of really who we are, and so many of us have become statistics simply because we just didn't have that extra push to move us into the direction direction that we needed to. So I thank God for this opportunity to now be able to celebrate the Twilight Academy. I don't know what it means for most people, but I want to even leave a charge with our graduates. I want them to know that this is not your end, but it's just your beginning. It was so interesting. A couple of weeks ago, my father and I began to go to Atlanta from Charlotte. And so as we began to go in with a group, we left the house and we went with the group, and they handed out MapQuest papers. And so my father, not being a dinosaur, wanted to prove that he was technologically sound. He didn't want to take the paper, but he wanted to, in his new BMW, tap in and put in the gauge of the coordinates into his GPS system. Because it's so awesome to understand and know that we are now in a technological age, and we have to do everything necessary to make sure that our mental maps are able to conceptualize the future. We got to be able to now invest into our intellectual property to know that that education can truly be our ticket out of the hood. We got to understand that my father, with his wise self, he went. So I said, well, why wouldn't you now take the maps and as the people and the rest of the group begin to do it? And so he tells me that I'm going to use my GPS system. And so with his bougie self, he went on and he began to tell me that the map doesn't always let you know the detours that you need to take on your journey. And so it is in life. That there's nothing in life that will now warn us of the detours that we may have to take or the delays that we may have to do. But be it as it may, he went on and he got the GPS and he punched in the coordinates. And so as everybody go down the street, everybody else breaks off left, and here we are breaking off to the right. And so being an obedient son that I am, knowing and I can get very overcritical sometimes. I just sat there. And then I started to look, and then I started seeing stuff being familiar all over to me again. It looked like we were going right back from the place that we started. And so I began to look at the GPS and I said, man, what in the world is going on? Why did everybody go this way and we're going that way? And he told me once again, don't worry, he put it into his GPS system. So as I began to now go in with my critical, overconscious and analytical self, I went back and I looked at the GPS system, only to find out that he ended up putting at his end place his starting place. And so I wanted to share with the graduates with that little scenario is that your starting place is not your end place. You have to understand that your environment and the investment that you just made and the sacrifices that you made are getting ready to make you and put you in a position to get behind the plow once again. The plow is in the middle of the field. We have to go behind the plow and keep on plowing until we get the harvest and the result that's necessary to know that I'm not going to be a statistic. Right. See, you got to understand that, some of your partners may have ended up incarcerated, but you were the one that said, no, I'm going to stay in and I'm going to get my diploma. Amen. So many people may have gotten pregnant, some of y'all might have children, but you have to understand, you were one that said, in spite of all the obstacles, I'm going to go in and make a difference in my own life. Amen. And guess what? Nobody else is going to do it. I'm going to do it. Everybody don't like what you're doing. You have to understand, celebrate your haters, because at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones that push you into the place that you need to be. Right. In a community that now is rated number 16 in the nation in poverty, you still didn't let that stop you. At a graduation rate that's not the most stellar in the state, but you still